Hey guys, it's the Brownbag talking sports here again to talk about the last game of the NFC wildcard round. The Eagles at Chicago. I'll focus on the Eagles first. So with that being said, let's begin. Before these last three games for the Eagles, this season was a real disappointment. I mean, they got some major injuries on their defensive side. They had some running back issues. Carson Wentz went down after their second loss against the Cowboys, which basically killed their division title hopes. And they had to play the Rams next. So that was not a pretty thing. That was not the situation that the Eagles were hoping for. Being a Saints fan, I wanted the Eagles to win because at that time, the Eagles and the Saints were still duking it out for being at the top of the NFC. But I just didn't think the Eagles would win it. I just thought it would be a murder. I thought it would be the same thing that happened when the Saints played the Eagles. I didn't expect them to win against the Rams, but Foles went out there. He didn't have a perfect game, but Foles did his job, man. He got the Eagles a W. What I noticed that they did with Foles, along with these other three games, Foles can spread the ball around a lot more. Wentz likes to go to Ertz a lot more, but Foles Foles just likes to spread the ball around and make everybody a threat. So the defense just doesn't cover one guy, or the defense doesn't take one guy for granted. It keeps the defense aware. It keeps the defense honest. But yeah, Eagles won 30-23. The Texans went to Philadelphia to face them. It was a much more competitive game. Not that the Rams game wasn't competitive, but like in the third quarter, the Eagles were just straight up dominating them. But in this Texans game, the Eagles it was a real back and forth game. And Deshaun was really playing well. He put his team on top 30-29. And the game should have ended right there, but Foles is just working his magic, man. I mean, he had a major third down conversion when the Eagles were deep in their own territory. That was just crazy to see. I mean, Foles really has proved himself. If not in the Rams game, this game is where he proved himself, because he drove down the field, got his kicker, Jake Elliott, into field goal range. They kicked the field goal, and they won the game. The Eagles played the Redskins after the Texans. Pretty much everybody thought that the Redskins were going to lose this game, and they did, 24-0. To be fair to the Redskins, they've had some very bad injury woes this entire season, but yeah, the Eagles didn't care about that. They just destroyed the Redskins. Foles went out of this game a little before the game was over. Turns out later, Foles went out due to bruised ribs, because he took a monster hit in that Redskins game. He took a couple hits. He took one in the Texans game, like on that third down conversion when he was like deep in his own territory, deep in Eagles territory. So yeah, I'll talk about that a little later, but thankfully he's able to play against the Bears. They nearly killed their own playoff hopes with all those losses early in the season, but they've managed to prove themselves to be a pretty competent and dangerous team in the NFC. But I'll talk about that later. Let's get into the Bears discussion. The Bears defense, of course, is amazing. I mean, there's nothing to really say there. I mean, Eddie Jackson is just a monster. Khalil Mack, nobody wants to see him. Yeah, Hicks, he's not someone you want to mess with. there's nothing really to talk about with the Bears defense aside from the fact that they're just amazing. I mean, who compares to them right now? But the main weak link of their team as a whole is their offense. Their offense has gotten better, but I just still think that it's very questionable. Like, can you play consistently at a good level? Because they had a pretty decent game against the Packers. They won 24-17, but they scored 14 points to the 49ers. I mean, they won that game 14-9, but still, man. They scored 24 points against the Vikings on the road, so that was pretty good. But the thing is consistency. I just haven't seen much consistency. I mean, I think Mitchell Trubisky has done a better job of keeping the ball and not turning the ball over, but I just think that they're the weak link right now. This year has just been about their inconsistencies on their offensive side. Their defense has no worries. I trust their defense on any day of the week, but their offense, man, they just really need to clean it up. My thoughts on who's going to win this game? I'm going to go with the upset this time. I'm going to go with the Eagles winning at Chicago, 19-14. I think the Eagles win because I trust Foles. And as long as that O-line can protect Foles, I think they have a good chance at winning this game. I don't think that this will be a particularly high-scoring game, but I think that they can win this game. The O-line must protect Foles, though. He cannot get hits like that. He cannot get bruised ribs. He can't get late hits by the defensive line. You have to protect him at all times. You need to protect Foles. That's the main thing today. You need to protect Foles. Don't always go for it on fourth down. Sometimes you need to be aggressive. Sometimes you need to establish your dominance. But don't go for fourth down too early in the game. Because this Chicago offense, like I said, is very inconsistent. So if you can get any points, if you can get a field goal, if you can get anything against this Bears defense, then get it. But, yeah. On the Bears side, there's no question about their defense. I think they're solid. I think they're good. It's all about the offense to me. Offense, if Chicago's offense can show up, I think they win this game very easily. But they have to be consistent. So, that's all. That's all I have for this game. I'm going to go ahead and edit this because the game starts in the game starts in 4 hours, so I still have a lot of time, but the video last time took a lot of time to process, and I don't get it. I've uploaded 30-minute videos on my channel, and it took less time to process than that, but I don't get it. Maybe I added a lot of graphics or something in the video, that's why it took long to process, but whatever. I'm gonna go before this video gets too long. So, yeah, I think Eagles win it 19-14. Yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. And until next time, Brownbag signing out. Come on, Foles. We believe in you. I believe in you. Kinda.